Welcome back to another video. In this one, we're going to be hopping on the ice with Captain Jarrid Houston. He's going to share some midwinter walleye tips. But first things first, he's going to talk about why he loves fishing the St. Louis River, which is right there in his backyard.
So like, it's so fun fishing the river as opposed to a lake on account of the action and how their demeanor and their mentality is so much different. They're a lot more migratory, so they're always swimming around and moseying. Where if you're fishing a lake, you're fishing structure and maybe like a mid-lake hump or something like that. And for a river, current, small water, skinny water is always on the move. So guess what? The fish are always on the move too. And so honestly, it's not really a stock and spot and stock kind of bite. It's more of a sit and wait for a fish to swim by in the water. So we're kind of some deep water here with some current running through and getting a few fish. Okay, there you go. Homeward bound.
All right, next up, Jarrid is going to share a little bit about his system, his program for catching walleyes on the river this time of year.
A great presentation for river fishing is, of course, minnows. Walleyes like minnows. But pairing it up with great color schemes and good water, the river we're fishing today is St. Louis River, Duluth, Minnesota. Our bread and butter, of course. And to try and contrast the water color, got this beautiful baby right here. I like to tip it up with a minnow, of course, like we just said. Get all those entrails, that's really important to me. Get all that slime on there. You guys have seen me do this a million times. But I do like to have the quick exchange thing, right? So sometimes when you have a dead bite on the St. Louis River, or anywhere for that matter, is a quick snap, right? To be able to adjust and put on something different. You know, here we got on the other stick a Coffin spoon, and you never know what they're going to be biting on. If the guy next to me is catching a bunch of fish on the lure and I'm using a different lure, of course, we're going to try to match up the baits that are working the best. But the river systems can be kind of original in that current, so many different changes can happen, right? Water levels, whether you have a bunch of snow in the springtime that raises them or lowers them, etc., etc. Temperature, today we got a bunch of wind going on, hurricane winds, matter of fact. And even though it's winter and it's all ice covered, that doesn't matter. We have Lake Superior, so we have a natural seiche. It's blowing in and blowing out a lot of current, which is actually putting these fish in a pretty predictable spot because they're adjusting in a hole. So we're fishing a hole in the middle of a basin on the St. Louis River where they're getting away from the current. They're just kind of harboring there and moseying around, and it's been a good spot to catch them because they're pretty, like I said, predictable and easy to get to.
Now Jarrid is going to talk about some of his thoughts on how he likes to go about targeting walleyes in midwinter when the bite can traditionally be a little bit more difficult.
Working them a little bit on the bottom, got them to raise up. A lot of bottom belly oh, I just lost them there at the hole. Never really got a good look at them, but I can tell you the way that they're acting, watching them on the screen, is that they're putting their bellies in the mud, which is kind of fun to watch. When you get them to raise up a little bit, they're not always biting, but if you kind of hold still and just kind of more or less dead stick, sometimes you get a reaction, and then sometimes I just hope it's there, and it's there. So you never really know. It's kind of a light bite. Sometimes later in the season, fish get a little lethargic, and sometimes you got to work with the lethargic ones too. Another good thing that I like to share is that when you can get fish schooled up, right? I had a friend once tell me, when a fisherman catches a bunch of fish, guess what happens? Anglers like to move in on them. Well, fish can be the same way. If you get a bite, sometimes if you reel it in slow, another fish that's swimming by says, what the heck's that fish doing? Etc., etc. So sometimes you can create your own school of biting walleyes, and that's what we're doing right now in the river.
All right, next up, Captain Jarrid is going to talk about the progression that he sees throughout the year from early in the winter to the middle of winter until late in the season, what he's seen the walleyes do in this system.
So when it's first winter time, I'm talking December, around Christmas time, the bite's good, not just on rivers or anywhere in your neck of the woods around the ice belt. The best time to fish is early ice. Everybody knows that because fish haven't seen a lot of baits, so you can fish shallow. You can fish kind of any predictable spots you left the fall bite going. You can go right back to those spots. But as winter transitions, you get to the dog days of walleye bites, which can be late January into February, early March. The temperature has gotten so cold, water temperatures even kind of dropped a little bit, but there are a lot of changes. The length of days are getting longer. So a lot of sun's happening, a lot of scientific properties, mud bugs, hatches, weeds are going to start getting those early growth things going, seeding, stuff like that. That actually kind of activates fish too. So never like give a cold shoulder to late winter fishing or the dog days of winter. So right now, you know, in a February situation, we can be away from the shallow water and we'll transition to some deep holes. But you know, it's kind of a bite window too, right? It's nice bright blue skies today. It makes sense to fish a hole or deep water. If we have some cloud cover or overcast, we'll go back to some shallow stuff and it's a bite window. You can get them throughout the day in the deep water, but if you're early morning, be shallow, go deep, midday, then go back shallow in the evening. Sometimes that can catch some more fish for you. But
now obviously, as you're watching this video, seeing some of these fish, seeing some of this mid to late winter action, you're seeing that the St. Louis River is a really cool fishery. And I can tell you one thing, Jarrid definitely does not take it for granted.
So, you know, it's definitely related to Lake Superior. So you get a lot of water from the big lake, as well as the river. And right now we're kind of close to Lake Superior, so the water clarity is kind of big. And the other true example of that is how pretty these walleyes are. I mean, look at that thing just crushing that bait. But look at the color of that thing. That is a Lake Superior fish, natural, native Lake Superior fish, coming in the river, do a little eating, but lives most of its summer and most of the year on Lake Superior. And like I mentioned, we're kind of close to Lake Superior, and that's the nature of the beast. In this case, a walleye beast. Get some. So what's really cool is that you have this big, long, lengthy winter when everybody's thinking about Cancun trips and getting out of town when it's February, March. But sometimes you can have a pretty active late season bite, and that's what we're experiencing today. You know, the beauty of Lake Superior, related waters, not just that, but the river systems and the tributaries and everything that flows in and out of this big Great Lake we call Lake Superior has active fish that can stay active. And so it doesn't, you're not wasting your time by trying to get out at the dog days of winter and finding yourself some walleyes. Late season, it can happen. I don't know when you guys will be watching this video, but you know, you never know.
It's not even sunset.
It's not even sunset. Yeah, middle of the day. Let's roll, baby.
All right, now that we've shown you a few walleyes, it's time for me to pass it off to Jarrid again for some more walleye action.
Oh, J. Hugh. Style and profiling, baby. Took a little bit of finessing, but that looks big on the graph. Let's see what it looks like down there. It's got some little bit of weight. See him? I should say her. Ooh, smoking. Just a nice female, ready to do some late season walleye angling. I mean, these things kind of spawning, not spawning, but staging for spawn. So look at how built they are. You know, just kind of putting on the feed bag as we get closer to the end of the season here. I don't know what time you're watching this video at, but fish will eat, prepare themselves for the spawn run, and get toasted. Gold, Coffin, rattling, styling, and profiling like we know how to do. Hell, just the way we like to have them released, baby. Healthy for you to catch next time. And we are hooked up once again. That one came out of nowhere. It's so fun watching them when they're moseying around the deep holes and when they come from nowhere. Got some head shaking going on. Turn that head. Couple from the bottom. Textbook. Oh, that wasn't.
There we go.
That wasn't quite textbook, but that's okay. Another nice built fish. Kind of a skinnier specimen, but you know what? Like I mentioned earlier, they got a lot of spunk going on right now. You know, kind of getting used to the end of the season, winter time, longer days, of course. More mild temperatures are coming about, and a lot of people kind of misunderstand that. Well, the walleye shut down. Well, not always true. Sometimes they really get the itch to eat, and that's what we're looking at these today. So big, heavy duty. I mean, we haven't marked a lot of fish that didn't come in and want to eat. So it's kind of one of those days where, you know, you sometimes have magic days, and you sometimes have super slow days or easy going days. But today, I would chalk this one up as a successful day so far. crushing it.
All right, now that you've seen a bunch of St. Louis River walleyes in this video, I think it's only fitting that we wrap this thing up with Jarrid catching one of those special Great Lakes Ling.
So, new tungsten forage spoon, the Purple Wonder, and it's a powder. Look at that!
Say no wonder.
Just a fat, no wonder he was kind of sliding up and down and doing a little different kind of action reaction. And sing it with me. Pout, pout.
Let it all out.
These are the fish you can do without. Well, it just goes to show you'll never know what you're gonna catch fishing the St. Louis River.
All right, well, that's about all we got for you in this video. Special thanks to Jarrid for sharing a bunch of great information and also putting us on a really awesome bite. So I actually shot this video at the end of last ice season in late February. That time of year, obviously, the bite can be really tough, pretty much all over the place. Once you get late in the season like that, oxygen levels are really low in the lake. So big props to Jarrid for putting us on a good bite of walleyes on the St. Louis River. And if you enjoyed this video and you learned something, make sure to hit that little red subscribe button down below because we have a lot more awesome content coming in the future. And until then, we will see you in the next one.